Welcome back to my workshop. Now today's the next video in a series about blade changes, and today we're going to talk about the scroll saw. Now you may not have one of these, but carry on watching because you might get one. Now I've had this quite a few years now, and I've only about 5 minutes ago discovered that I can use a different type of blade. Okay, let's have a quick look at this and then I'll show you how to change the blade. Okay, so this is the Clarke Woodworker CSS 400C. Okay, this is still a current model at the moment, and you can get it from Machine Mart, okay, which is where I got it from originally, absolutely years ago. Okay, so for those of you that are not familiar with this, this is a scroll saw, and it's basically a combination between a jigsaw and a bandsaw. Okay, you've got a very fine blade here, which I'll show you closely in a moment. And what you can do is you can cut very small, intricate shapes. Now, obviously nowadays, a lot of people have decided to move to using lasers for cutting out intricate shapes, but there's a certain skill involved in using these, and it's actually quite fun. But what I'll do in this video, I'll just cover changing the blade, and I'll also show you how to change to a different type of blade. So first of all, let's have a look at what type of blades there are. Okay, so the first type of blade, the type that's in this at the moment, okay, is this, which is called a pinned blade. Okay, and what this has is each end, there's a little pin like this. Okay, there's one that end and there's one that end. And basically they fit into a claw, which is on the machine, and it holds it tight, which I'll show you in a second. Now, what do you need to know when you're ordering a blade? The main thing is the overall length. So whether it's a pinned or unpinned blade, what you need to know is the overall length. Okay, in this case it is 130, so 130 mil. Obviously the thickness may also be asked for. Okay, in this case it's 3 mil, and this thickness is 0.5. Now the chances are the ones you'll find online will all be very similar. So basically 13 centimeters long, and whether it's pinned or unpinned. Now the pinned ones fit in the machine by a little claw, but you can also get, which is what I've just found out, you can get an unpinned type. Now I haven't got one, but here's a blade that I broke, but I can actually use this. Okay, it hasn't got a pin on the end, but I can use it, and I'll cover how to use that in a second. Okay, so let's get straight into changing this, and I'll show you how simple it is. Okay, so the blade here is under a certain amount of tension. You could almost tune that. The way you loosen that off is by, on the back of the machine here, you've got a tensioning knob. If you turn it anti-clockwise, that basically loosens off the blade. Okay, so you just loosen that until the blade is floppy. Okay, then to remove it, okay, so the actual pinned part of the blade here sits in this claw. Okay, so the easiest way to remove it, now you've taken the tension off, is grab the blade to stop it dropping and just literally push down on the top of the claw and then slide out the blade. Now it's still hooked in at the bottom, okay, which from the top here, it's a bit tricky to see. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll remove this cover so you can actually see what's going on. Okay, to remove the cover, it's fairly simple. There's a couple of keyways in here, and that's just to allow you to remove it. So then you can see the blade at the bottom. Okay, so once the tension's off, hold the blade, push down on the top, release it, and then at the bottom there you can see there's another claw, and you just release the blade. Okay, that's the old blade off. Simple as that. Okay, if you look at the bottom here, you can see there's two different types of claw, or two different directions of claw. So you can either have it slotted in the front, so it's facing the front here, or you can have it slotted in at the side, so then you can work from this side. Okay, it may make a difference depending on what you're actually cutting. So to refit the blade or to replace the blade with a new one, you literally slot it in the bottom, push down on the top, hook it into place, and then you tension it up again. Let me show you that from the other side. Okay, hook it in the bottom, hold the blade, push down the top, and locate it in the top there. Now this is where the pin comes into play, because you can actually see that the pin locates in a little divot on the top. Okay, once that's in like this, then you can retension it. Let me show you. And you can retension it by tightening up this knob. Okay, and then simply refit your throat plate like that, and you're good to go. Excellent. Right, just a couple of things to note while you're doing this. All right, when you're refitting a blade, make sure that the teeth here are all facing downwards. Okay, so what it does is when it cuts, the blade goes up and down, it actually cuts into the table. So you've got your workpiece here, and the blades have got, the teeth have got to be going down to cut into the workpiece. Okay, you can fit these upside down and back to front and all sorts. Okay, but teeth where you want to get access to them, and then they've got to be facing downwards. Right, let's have a quick word about blades. Right, so a quick word about blades. Obviously we've just seen on that one, if you're looking at your blade lengthwise, so this is the overall length, which in that case was 130 millimeters. Okay, and on the end of each one of them, you had a small pin like this. Okay, and that's what locates into the teeth or into the claw. Now another type of blade you can get is it's a pinless type. It's literally just a blade. Okay, and these ones you can get spiral blades. So it cuts on the way down, it cuts on the way up, and you can do much tighter turns when you're cutting. Okay, so these, the spiral blades, okay, I've got a blade that spirals around it. They can be very good for very small intricate work. Okay, the slightly cheaper blades are the normal blades here, and now they come in different sizes. Obviously the length on a lot of them is the same, but the different types of blades will have, let's look from the side, okay, the amount of teeth, okay, so teeth like that. Now it's measured in TPI, okay, which is teeth per inch. So if it's a low number, then it's got very few teeth. If it's a high number, then it's for finer cuts, okay. Some blades have actually got teeth that go downwards at the top and upwards at the bottom. Okay, so this way it cuts on its way down and it cuts on its way up. Okay, it all depends on what you're cutting, how you want to cut it. Now I've just discovered that this machine can actually take the spiral blades as well. So how do I fit those? They haven't got any pins. I'll show you. Okay, so as I mentioned, I don't actually have a pinless blade or a spiral blade, but I can demonstrate using this because I've broken the pin on one end and I've taken the pin out of the other. So this is effectively a pinless one. Now when I bought this machine, now it's quite a while ago, I just got it and started using it. But what I didn't realise, I've got these two little brackets. Now what they are is just basically a bracket with a locating hook on one end and two little grub screws. Okay, and there's a hole in this end. Now what you can actually do is if you buy a spiral blade or a pinless blade, you basically put it in this hole in the end here, okay, and then tighten up the grub screws, okay, and that pinches the blade. Now obviously you do it side to side so it ends up in the middle. So now that pin, that blade is hooked on there. Okay, now don't fit the top one yet. I'll show you where this fits. So if you look at the bottom of the claw here, there's a tab as well, okay, and there's a similar one on the top here, okay, and all you do, once you've got your pinless blade fixed into this bracket, okay, you just hook it over that tab, if you can, okay, then the top one hooks over the top tab. Oh, okay, put your blade in, fiddly, fiddly, okay, the top one hooks over, then you literally nip up the grub screw on both sides, okay, obviously making sure that your teeth are facing the right direction. So that's in place, so then you can retension it. Okay, refit your throat plate and you're good to go. So now I've only just discovered this, so it does mean now I can go and buy some spiral blades, which I've always wanted to do, and I can do some different cuts. Exciting times. So that's about it for today. Quickly covered on how to change both pinned and spiral blades or pinless blades on this scroll saw. This is the Clarke Woodworker. The basic principles apply to most other scroll saws. A very good machine. It's worth doing. It's fun. These are actually quite good fun, and it's better than just using a laser. But just one word of warning, don't just throw away the instructions. If I'd read these 5 or 6 years ago, then I would have known that I could use spiral blades. Okay, so now I know what the machine's capable of. I'm going to go and get some more blades and give it another go. Right, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Welcome back to my workshop. Now today I'm going to go... Welcome back to... So as you can see at the bottom here, there's actually two different types of, or two different orientations of tooth. Tooth? Claw. So if you look at it... Oh, for God's sake!